Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Renegades React, and if you're new or you just got a bump on the head and don't remember, I am Micah, and this is Nate, and we are going to be reacting to a video, and that video is 15 things you didn't know about your own body. This is Planet Dolan, of course, Danger Dolan. We've reacted to his stuff before. Typically always fascinating, and now we're going to get personal and learn about my body. And your body. All of our bodies.
Danger Dolan.
Danger Dolan.
From why we get a runny nose to bacteria inside us outnumbering cells. We count 15 facts about our own bodies we never even knew.
Number 15.
Did you know that we actually change height based on what time of day it is? On average, you're 1 inch taller than when you wake up in the morning. When you sleep, excess fluids build up inside your spinal discs, and the stress of standing in a day causes the fluid to seep out, making you lose height. If you measure yourself first thing in the morning and again at night, you should see a small but visible difference.
Wow.
Number 14.
I did know that.
When it comes to bones in our body, our bones might snap easily enough, but when it comes to supporting weight, we are almost uncontested. Just one tiny matchbox-sized piece of bone can support over 9 tons of weight, with that ability increased when you factor in the actual size of our bones. To put it into perspective, concrete can't even support 4 times less weight than bones without crumbling.
Number 13.
That's cool.
Have you ever tried tickling yourself? It doesn't really work, does
No,
it?
it
The
doesn't.
reason for this
That doesn't
is
look like
your
tickling.
brain actually anticipates the sensation.
That's tickling.
It discards expected ones and alerts you to unexpected ones, hence why you might have such a strong reaction to someone else tickling you. It's the same thing that helps dull the feeling from your fingertips, unless you're actively thinking about it or touching something strange.
Number 12.
While some people feel you get smarter as you get older, the reality is you're actually losing your intelligence as you age. Every single day you're losing more than 1,000 brain cells since your brain is working continuously even when you are sleeping or watching daytime TV. When you wake up, your brain is in crunch time, working hard to replenish your daytime functions to peak efficiency.
Number 11.
Well,
You
that's
might
depressing.
never think about it, but breathing through your nose is actually quite complex, and the effects are intense. 85% of people only breathe through one nostril at a time. The other nostril gets subconsciously blocked by tissue swelling, while you might have noticed when you can't unclog one nostril even when there's nothing in there. And depending on which nostril you breathe through, it affects your brain. Breathing through the right nostril activates the logical side of your brain, whereas the left makes you more creative.
Number 10.
In 1 year, your heart will pump 40 million times, which means if you were to live a long, healthy life, your heart will have pumped well over 2 billion times. To put that into perspective, you'd need to drink 4 cups of water each day for 4 months just for it to equal the same amount as how much blood your heart pumps through your body each hour.
That's exhausting.
Likewise, over your entire life, you will have pumped enough blood through your system to fill over 12 super oil tankers.
Number 9.
You know when you wake up and you have all this crust in your eye? Have you ever wondered what that stuff actually is? It's called gound, a mixture of dust, blood cells, skin cells, and gland mucus. During the day, it helps keep tears from evaporating from your eyeballs, as well as keep your eyes sealed airtight when you close them.
Ugh.
When you sleep, you don't blink the gound away, so it builds up and dries out, creating yellowish crust material.
Number 8.
Dang.
Your stomach can digest a whole array of things, and if it weren't for the mucus lining, it would actually end up digesting itself.
I did know that.
Fortunately, the acid is kept in check because your stomach manufactures a new lining every few days, stripping away the old to bring in something new and stronger. The acid in your stomach is so strong that it's used as a corrosive compound to treat various types of metal.
Number 7.
We all get runny noses when we have the flu, but even when we're just cold, our nose will tend to drip way more than normal. This is because normally we produce a liter of mucus daily, most of which gets swallowed down our throat without us even noticing. In cold weather, more blood is pumped through our nostrils, accelerating snot production in addition to keeping our nose warm so that warm air will enter our lungs.
Number
Jeez.
6.
Well, that's
Everyone
kinda
knows
gross.
about all the internal organs we have, but did you know that the skin covering your body is actually a giant organ
I didn't know
itself?
that.
Yeah, I did
It's a
too.
living carpet that regenerates tens of thousands of cells every few seconds
That's kinda
and
weird.
sheds the old skin constantly. And our skin is so prominent that it actually makes up over 12% of our overall weight alone.
Number
Dang.
5.
For a long time throughout history, people have wondered why our muscles get sore from a new workout. In fact, for a while, people thought it had to do with lactic acid buildup in the muscles. But the reality is, when you do a new workout or a strenuous version of your current workout, microfractures form in the muscle cells, causing a burn, which explains why you don't feel it quite as often when you're used to a certain workout or exercise.
Number 4.
Huh.
For every pound you gain, your body needs to create new blood networks to accommodate it, which means you're adding miles worth of new blood vessels each time you gain even a tiny bit of weight. It also means your heart needs to pump faster in order to keep up with this new workload, leading to reduced oxygenation and nutrient replenishment in other tissues. Luckily, for each pound you lose, your body will reabsorb those redundant vessels into previous tissues.
Number 3.
We have about 10 trillion cells in our body, but that number is dwarfed by the amount of bacteria that lives in our gut alone.
Huh.
Yeah.
100 trillion of them. It's not all bad bacteria though. Most of them break down food for digestion, provide nutrients, and eliminate invading pathogens.
Yep.
In fact, if you were to remove just one family of those microbes, you'd be far more prone to various diseases, including obesity.
Number 2.
Body warmth is necessary to keep us alive, but the heat we generate is so high that in only 30 minutes you would have generated enough to boil half a gallon of water. The reason for this, the heat from daily activities, exercise, sweat, exhaling, digesting food, and even urinating puts your body into overdrive, putting out energy and the heat needed to survive.
Number 1.
The old saying goes that we humans only have 5 senses: sight,
No.
taste, sound, smell, and touch. But did you know that we actually have more than 9? In addition to those, we have pressure, proprioception in which you can sense your own body parts, tension sensors for muscles, thirst, hunger, and magnetoception to detect magnetic fields. Something debated is whether or not the ability to perceive time is a singular mechanism inside us or a collection of things more to do with our brain as a whole. That's it for this countdown.
That's pretty interesting.
Okay.
That was interesting. Not as uncomfortable as I thought that would get.
No, not at all. I thought it was gonna get like your like it was gonna get like your appendix can kill you at any time, and just like
It's just waiting there to stab you right in the kidneys.
yeah.
No, I
explode.
knew some of that. I mean, I knew we had a lot of bacteria inside us. I didn't know we had
Yeah.
that much.
Oh yeah, they said that if you actually removed all the bacteria at once, you would be about 8 to 10 pounds lighter.
Wow.
That's a lot of bacteria.
That is filthy.
Yeah, nasty. Also, I knew about the the human body being a giant organ,
Hmm?
or or human skin being pretty much a giant organ. Also, I knew about the oh gosh, what?
I mean, I knew that bone had a greater density and strength than concrete. I didn't know it was
Yeah.
quite that ridiculous.
Yeah, dude. In terms of support, I mean, honestly, our leg bones, especially our like femurs.
I'm gonna punch
Holy-
everything.
Yeah. Oh, don't do that now. As it said, it can be easily broken by tensile stress. Like
Sure.
tensile stress, but compacting stress,
Sure.
it handles it better than anything. I was gonna say if we had the tensile strength of something like imagine if we had imagine if it was just like I would say titanium in terms of tensile strength, which titanium can hold a lot. Where it's very rigid, in a lot of ways. But the reason why bone is so good when it comes to compacting is because it actually shrinks a little bit. It actually impacts on top of itself and recalcifies. That's just like you've heard about the the Thai kickboxers,
Yep.
what they do to train their legs and everything. They actually kick trees.
Yep.
They kick trees to deaden the nerves and cause microfractures that then recalcify. It pretty much turns their legs into giant bludgeons and just makes them almost unbreakable. And you see that. See, the human body is able to do that. The human body is able to adapt like that. That's what makes the human body so interesting. Is that it's just like, I've heard of a surgery that, you know, for people who are short or have, you know, who have like club feet, you know, like one leg that's shorter than the other. As a matter of fact, River Cuomo of Weezer, the lead singer of Weezer, actually had one leg that was shorter than the other. They actually, what they can do is cause like microfractures, like microfracture, and then split the bone out a little bit, and then put screws in, and then put bone glue in there, and thus it will regrow and recalcify, and thus make the bone longer, and thus it will cause you actually to grow in height. I've actually heard that they can actually make people grow in height for up to 6 inches.
I did hear there was I knew someone that knew someone, and it was their kid. I think he was doing a sport like wrestling or something, broke a leg, and when they reset it, they did something like that because it was like, I mean, he was about to hit his growth spurt, and so they're like,
yeah,
so they compensate. I don't know how you determine that or figure that out, but they kind of compensated for it, and
yeah,
I think that's how I understood it. I don't know. I'm not a
Well,
doctor.
yeah, they have to compensate for whenever growth is happening, especially when you're a kid. Like my little one of my little sisters actually broke her arm right here, really bad, and they put the cast on it and everything, and they reset it, but she grew a lot while she had the cast on. Like, she got a lot taller and her arm got longer.
So you have like a little gimp hand.
Well, she actually had the bone. It was actually after, you know, the set period was done, the bone was actually bowed out a little bit. The bone was actually bowed out a little bit because it grew, and instead of it growing long, instead it couldn't handle the tensile stress, and it actually bowed out. It actually bowed out like that, really bad. She had like a place out to here on the end of her arm, and what they did was they had to go in and do surgery to fix it.
Well, that's terrifying.
No, I know. And she had it fixed and everything. She's perfectly good now. You know, she's doing handstands. Well, she would if she could. I mean, she's got the coordination of a sloth. Thankfully, not the speed. If she were as fast as a sloth, I don't think she would have survived this long.
Interesting.
But she's not very coordinated. But she's as cool as it comes when it when it comes to laughing stuff off. It's just like when her arm was like that. She was just like, don't make me have to ball that. Oh wait.
Yeah, that'd be super weird. I don't know.
Well, she dealt with it. You know, it was, you know,
Sure.
a lot of kids would have that happen and they'd panic. No, she was like, oh gosh, oh. She panicked for like a little bit, and all of a sudden she came back. She was just like, well, there's always the circus.
Actually, a girl I went to prom with, she had polydactyly. She was born with it, and it wasn't like fully developed polydactyly. It was just like little nubbies, and they were surgically removed. But
Oh, okay.
she told me one time that they started to grow back. But this was like when she was really young, and so she didn't have like extra fingers or anything. Like, she was normal. It's kind of interesting. So it's like one of those fun facts that you're just like,
Wow. Well, I was gonna say there are people out there who have like little they call them genetic deficiencies, but truth is they're just genetic variances. You see, because there's things in the human that are constantly changing within the human species. It's just like there are human beings out there that are actually able to press heat from their they're able to make heat exude from their palms. Like, they're actually able to get their palms up to like 120 degrees and have it come out to you can actually feel the heat like out to here,
like a Kamehameha wave.
almost. That's what I was saying. I was like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
it's almost possible.
We're getting there.
Yes, we are getting there. Pretty soon, like 30 generations from now, we will be throwing like small Kamehameha waves or Masenkos, depending on who your teacher is.
I'm down.
I am as well. But yeah, and there are also people out there who have an extra auditory sense where they can actually hear the human ear can only hear a select amount of frequencies, and dogs are able to hear 10 times the amount of frequencies that we do. Well, there are people out there who can actually hear like 5 times the amount of frequencies that we do, or that normal human beings are able to. Like it's almost superhuman. There are also people out there who I actually read about a woman. You know how the human eye has so many color palettes that they're able to perceive?
Mm-hmm.
There's one woman out there, the color palette that she has for her eyes is actually 4 times as much.
Huh.
She can see 4 times the amount of colors. So whenever we see like a green leaf, she says that she sees purple, red, yellow. She sees like because you see, light is also a weird thing where light bounces off of stuff. That according to the light that bounces off of it, we see it as that. But and it's based upon how the human eye has come to this point. But say her eyesight becomes more prevalent in the human species as it goes along, then we'll all be able to see that, and thus everything will change. So instead of this microphone being just basic black or gray, it'll be it'll be true gray, because they'll be able to decipher what is actually true gray and what is not. I mean, it's a weird thing. It's a weird concept.
Pantone vision.
Pretty much. Gosh. You see, the human body is such a weird thing. And
Obviously.
And I could talk about it all day, but just so
Well,
much.
So this was 15 things you didn't know about your own body. So, hey, in the comments, tell us 15 things that we don't know about your body. Why not?
Why not?
As always, check the description for our related content. And thank you for watching with us. And hopefully, we will see you all back here very soon.